Hello Cancer, we're going to do your May fortnightly reading for the 17th through to the 31st. If you haven't already, go and check out your Practically Soulful reading for the month that's up on the channel. If this is your first time here, thanks for watching. Hopefully the message resonates and you subscribe. Now, a little bit about me. My name is Ali. I'm an intuitive energy healer. You can find out, and reader, you can find out a little bit more about the work that I do in the links below in the description box to my website on my Facebook page. My channel is dedicated and targeted to those that identify as empaths, intuitives and sensitives, those who might be on an awakening path or journey. My intention with my healing messages, I work on I work with and through what I call soul ascension healing. Now, working with the 5 levels and bodies within, the realms of being within. You know, we are more than just a physical body. We are an emotional body, a thought body, an energy body, and a soul. And how they all successfully balance and integrate and intertwine within us is unique for us all. Which ones matter most to us is, again, unique for us all. With the fortnightly readings, I try and do a recap of the energy each zodiac is experiencing, perhaps on their journey. Now, Cancer, you guys, you know, and I'm assuming that your reading will be very much like the Capricorn ones. You guys are closing off a massive 2.5-year ecliptical cycle. It is all about the new and, you know, the energies that I pick up on before a read are quite unique to the zodiacs, you know, but the Cancers I'm picking up on, like, it's almost like non-negotiable, that there is no going back to anything. There is no going back to old ways of doing, being, feeling. A lot of, you know, transmutation has happened thanks to this ecliptical cycle that you've learned on how to successfully master and balance self and soul path is what I'm feeling. Now, in June, you guys have got a big month coming up. It is 2 new moons and your final solar eclipse. It's going to be a big month, but it has been a big couple of years, Cancer. Let's take a look at how the final 2 weeks of May helps you balance out and prepare for that closure and this amazing new beginning. This makes sense to me. Underneath the deck is an energy balance card that is about successfully balancing the realms within that I mentioned earlier. Yeah, focusing on self to know what this true balance feels like. That is the card underneath. What you have, Cancer, is freedom. When the freedom card wants to show up, we certainly know what the shadow elements of self have been. We certainly know what the light elements of our self are and have been when it comes to our journey. We have to experience the dark in order to truly experience the light. And this balancing that has been the gift of the ecliptical cycle that you have taken with Capricorn as the paternal divine masculine element, if you like, Cancer being maternal and divine feminine essence. This balancing of the both sides of self, our shadow and our light, has been essential and has been the invitation and gift for us all, Cancer. I know I'm meant to be doing a 2-week reading here when I say that it's the final 2 weeks of May, but in many ways this feels like the Capricorn reading. This is more than just a 2-week story. This is a 2-year cycle that you have been on, a 2.5-year cycle, something you've been working on your whole life. In very practical ways, expect to experience a true freedom within heart, within mind, within self, when it comes to clarity of purpose, path, your direction moving forward. These guys are not moving back, yeah? They are galloping forward after a time of balance, and the wisdoms you've gained thanks to balancing elements of self, elements of your life, relationship dynamics, how to best navigate forward, what you need for true self-care in order to feel balanced, yeah? Freedom awaits, Cancer. What a beautiful card to get. It is the yin and yang, the twin flames. It is light and dark, which, you know, there is nothing to be scared of when it comes to the dark. It is within the dark that new life is born. It is within the dark that we rise. We wouldn't know what it feels like to rise if it were not for the fall. Because within the dark, our most potent creativity is experienced. Now you can translate that to as many different metaphors as you like. There's a lot of elemental balancing in this card too that I'd never really noticed before. Look at this. Look at the white horse with the sacred geometry shapes. If I do it, look at that. Look at the balancing that's happening in the symbolism there. Yeah? And see the dark. See the dark horse? How it's just got like this burst of light behind it. I'm talking to Cancers that have truly experienced dark chapters, connections, wisdoms, learning that have felt like a force, like a lightning bolt, yeah? Not in a good ways, not at the time perhaps anyway. But ultimately the gift of this is now behind you. It has provided a lesson for you to truly balance all elements of self. And when it comes to light, our clarity, our healing work, our determination and strong knowing moving forward, you know, you are completely balanced, Cancer. You are clear thanks to the wisdoms of these dark lessons, dark chapters, as much as they were an explosion or an exploding force or disruptive force in your life. The energy of lightning, I love the energy of lightning. It is shocking and can be sometimes scary. But it is authentic in its promise, yeah, that it is going to reset the scene, Cancer. I'm connecting into Cancers that are genuinely, they know what I'm saying when I'm explaining it that way. But see how the dark horse is behind the white horse. We are not led by our fears, we are led by our light. We take them with us as wisdom to support us. We remember where we have come from. I'm talking to Cancers that have taken a healthy approach in where they allow this navigation to happen, yeah? There is no better or worse. They are both vital in order to create that greater whole. There is freedom in coming together, whether with another. There is freedom when we merge the two elements of ourself. There's nothing to hide when it comes to our fears, when we have to face our fears head on like that. In fact, there's a genuine liberation and ascension that happens when we do Cancer. It makes our light more lightier. I feel like I'm connecting into Cancers that are getting perhaps a lot of crown upgrades. I do want to say I'm feeling a head pressure, so maybe drink a lot of water, spend some time in the early morning and late afternoon sun as you can. You may be experiencing some upgrades. The Schumann resonance has been peaking a lot lately, so I think it was at 103 Hertz yesterday. That's our new normal. The Queen of Swords, the Lovers, the Magician in the past. What crowns you is the King of Swords. Wow, you've got a divine partnership there. Underneath all this is the Four of Cups. What's likely to happen next is the Six of Swords. Influential energies is the Hierophant, the Six of Pentacles, the World, the Three of Cups. Okay, underneath all this is the Wheel of Fortune and the World. You are definitely closing a cycle and a chapter, okay? As much as you guys rule the realms of the heart, Cancer, you're very, very familiar with navigating the emotional body and the importance of perhaps even balancing and mastering that. Yeah, we have to know what imbalance in the emotional body feels like in order to know what true balance feels like. But I feel like I'm talking to Cancers here that had to be in their heads. They had to approach things from a logical point of view. You are definitely going through crown upgrades when I see these two, the divine masculine and feminine of swords. This rules higher consciousness, higher knowing, seeing ourselves, our path, our purpose, this concept and idea of freedom and everything we have learned. You are going through crown upgrades that are balancing the masculine and feminine elements within self. from a spiritual perspective, I can literally say that I am talking to Cancers that are manifesting higher consciousness and that next level of perception of self, path, direction. There definitely could be air elements within your chart, Libra, Gemini or Aquarius. You could definitely be navigating with this new infusion of Aquarian energy so that you truly can experience freedom, divine love, a connection coming together. You know, what is freedom? What does our society tell us about freedom? That it is autonomous? Here you have true freedom and coexistence, existing in balanced harmony. Apply that metaphorically in partnership within self. Who I am as a nurturing mother with my young child, and I'm breastfeeding. You know, you'd like to think that that energy is soft and beautiful and nurturing. That same mother is just as very real in her absolute rage and protection when she is, you know, fighting to fend off any harm or danger from that same baby. Yeah? That part of me is real and true and me just as much as that part is. And when I cannot successfully merge these two, I will never perhaps truly come into union with anything outside of me, or genuinely accept anything, or experience non-judgment, thus which leads us to unconditional love. Yeah, it's all ascension, it's all a journey. I must merge the imbalance within, or the perceived sense of imbalance within, so that I can truly merge any sense of imbalances without or outside of me. If I can genuinely love and bring into balance the parts of me that make me who I am, I will then successfully be able to see that naturally in another. I can see their motivations for this stuff. I can see their heartfelt desires for this stuff. I can come to a point of acceptance where my perceptions have ultimately really shifted, Cancer. I'm no longer looking, the perceptions is ruled by the suit of swords, you know, the suit of air, the element of air. I'm no longer perceiving my past, myself, my life, my potential and opportunities in the same limited way. And if ascension is all about ascending out of our limitations, increasing our awareness of self, increasing our awareness of even just switching our perceptions on how to look at past pain and hurt, disappointment, betrayal, whatever the case may be, you are moving into more peaceful waters, moving out of a time that perhaps challenged you when it comes to perception and balancing this higher consciousness, higher thought energy that was wanting to be upgraded. I felt it here. I feel the crown upgrades. Like sharp stabbing pains. I've had many. There's a divine union here, Cancer, you know, and I've said it so many times in many readings. I do not like to romanticize this concept of divine love, connection, twin flames, soulmates. I feel so strongly that twin flame energy must happen in self first. It must, exactly how I explained it. The twin flame exists within. This light and dark must successfully merge in self. And when done so, we can then naturally vibrate and call in and connect to the same energy that has done the same for themselves. Because if I'm operating just in this element, Cancer, I will naturally call in and attract those that resonate to that vibration, experiences, because as human beings on our path, our spiritual path and growth, we will always so easily recognize something if it is outside of ourselves, because we are not taught to go in. We are not taught to acknowledge. We are not taught to take responsibility and accountability. My perceptions are there because I have them. Yeah, my beliefs, my everything. This is everything. And when we're naturally vibrating to that, we'll attract in those who vibrate to that too. But my God, true freedom is when we've merged the two and we've been able to truly understand the purpose of this, the guidance of this, and how they work together in tandem. to successfully balance us. It is genuine acceptance of all of me that looks like this, genuine acceptance of all of me that looks like that. Grateful for the path and everything I've learned, because it has made me who I am. And it is then that we attract and connect into those who are exactly the same. We will always attract those who are exactly the same, no matter what part of ourselves we're allowing to vibrate at. Always we attract in, it's like that light. That light can be so bright. Sometimes dark things have to happen, like I said, so it truly illuminates us and wakes us up, Cancer, so that we can see ourselves and our possibilities and our deeper beliefs. What part of me believes that I deserve to attract that shadow experience? Am I unworthy? Do I deserve it? Have I, do I deserve that karma? All of that complicated stuff that comes down to what is divine love and what is freedom. How can I truly feel free in connection if the world has never taught me that? Interesting. I love this. I love this. I'm speaking to Cancers that have recently come out of a time of whatever you are experiencing when it comes to coming into harmony with another individual that is truly intellectually matching you. They perceive in the same way. They see things from a higher view. They have mastered the energy of the power of perception, thoughts, all of that. They are clear with who they are and what they will and won't stand for. These guys, they're not only just an intellectual powerhouse, they are, they don't let you cross their boundaries. They know who they are. They know what they stand for. These elements are happening within you, and perhaps even without as well, within a connection. You've recently come out of a time, Cancer, of embracing, embodying, and bringing this in. You have called in this upgrade. You have called in this connection. You have called in this expanded consciousness because you are ready to level up. You are ready to move away from what was stormy waters into more peace and calm. You know exactly, with a very clear conscience, clear head. This is a lot of logic on the table here, guys. There actually is only a couple of emotional cards. Okay, no, there's quite a balance. There is a 3 and 4 of Cups, so that's Ascension energy. You are emotionally, in your emotional awareness of what you want for self is emotionally ascending. There is the King and Queen of Swords, as well as the 6 of Swords. You are clear and balanced in your masculine and feminine elements, about how you are perceiving yourself and your journey, about what you choose peace no matter what. You choose what is right for you, what resonates to you, no matter what. No more of attracting in or having to attract in this so you can truly understand that it exists in here. It exists in here. We get to a very clear understanding of ourself, Cancer. We have to be the star of those shit shows. Sorry, but it's true. I say this with a lot of love. Why is that happening to me? Why does that always happen to me? Why do I always seem to play this role? Sometimes it has to happen so much, and we are the star of those shit shows so that we can actually truly see ourselves for crystal clear clarity. Cancer. Okay, this is strong clarity. Strong knowing. This is a higher consciousness, a higher view of self, your past, purpose, the direction you want to head in life, what and who feels like you're equal, Who is the yin to your yang? And knowing that you are no longer challenged by those elements of others because they have existed and harmonized within self. There is a gift of divine love here that you have manifested. There is a very big gift in the Venus retrograde for you that has kicked off in May. The Lovers is ruled by Gemini, and the Venus retrograde is ruled by Gemini. We have Venus retrograde every couple of years. And this one is about divine love. because it's in the house of the lovers, Gemini, yeah? Seeing the purpose of divine love in a whole new way. Changing your perceptions about what it is to experience divine love, Cancer, yeah? Maybe you've always been challenged emotionally by what it is, and maybe a perception shift had to change. Without a shadow of a doubt, you're moving away from old paradigms and any old experiences, you know, because I do see underneath all this you were reluctant to take the cup. You were reluctant to take an opportunity, engage in an opportunity that the divine had brought into you, presented to you. This was something you manifested, though. The Magician has every symbol of the suits on the table in front of them to be able to connect into the divine. You've called in something here that is an ultimate balancing, an ultimate gift of divine love. You know, you are getting crystal clear on what it is that you will and will not accept too. The Hierophant rules spiritual principles, higher forms of love, higher forms, and take that however it resonates, guys, you know. There is true freedom in connecting to others. There genuinely is a true divine gift when we can get to that elevation in ourselves, so that we can get to that elevation within all others that are around us, so we can see our connections no longer have to be our master teachers of our darkness, but they can be our master teachers of a true balance of light, with gratitude for the darkness that we have both been on. I no longer have to feel challenged by the relationships in my life, because I can get to some higher principles about their purpose. There's a lot of wisdom and learning here that's happened for the Cancers that I'm talking to, you know. There's a lot of wisdom that has been gained. Relationships, love, have been a vital teaching and classroom for you in many ways, Cancer. You know, you've been learning the value of equal reciprocity. How much are you going to keep mothering and giving so that you continually feel imbalanced? Yeah, when all you've wanted was balance. This is about knowing that equal reciprocity, equal give and take is essential. There is equality. We can be completely different, but yet equal in what we contribute to this union so it successfully balances. No, that harmony wouldn't exist if one was heavier than the other. If one took too much energy and the other didn't get as much back, yeah, if this was a set of scales, it would be imbalanced. They have the freedom to be different, but have the responsibility to be equal, so that there is no imbalance. And that is the message of the Six of Coins, this whole lesson, this freedom, this ascension, this higher consciousness way of seeing everything you've learned to date, Cancer. Every purpose of every connection, every relationship in your life, intimate or otherwise, has been this wisdom lesson about the balancing of the scales. Equal give and take. Connecting into someone who feels like an equal, if you've perhaps never felt that. Yeah, meeting someone on the same page, same path, same ideals, same thoughts. There's this higher principle that had to happen, that yes, it's beautiful and loving when we give, but how much are we not loving self when we're emptying our vessel, Cancer? That's the higher principle of love. Higher connections, higher forms of connections. Definitely there is a divine connection here that has been called in, so that there are Cancers out there that can experience true freedom when it comes to meeting the other half of you. And like I said, that happens in here first before it can happen outside. This is a beautiful divine union, make no mistake. You are closing a chapter. When the world card shows up, the world is your oyster. There is a whole new world, but with an opening comes a closing. You know, there is no looking back in this. She's got the 2 wands in her hand. She knows there's a new beginning here, a partnership, I'm in partnership with me and my higher self, in partnership with another. I'm in partnership with my optimism and faith for the future. I am looking back and I'm seeing how much I have gained from the wisdoms of all this. But I know that I am moving forward with carrying that knowing with me, the lessons of that, in true balance. When the World card shows up, it's a global thing. There's a celebration here. There's a coming together, a coming together of self, a recognition and seeing self in others too. The whole world is your oyster. Feeling like you see someone as your whole world. There is a celebration and a coming together, something to celebrate as a whole new world opens up. I feel like I'm talking to Cancers, and this feels very much, like the Capricorn reading. I'd be interested to see what your June reading is like, my dear. This is beautiful. This is a divine closing and opening, a beautiful healing that has happened as far as, the energy of the past and what you are closing off and moving away from in peace. Because this shadow stuff, Cancer, this shadow stuff, nothing ever starts with the intention of it being a shadow experience. Whenever we meet someone, we never meet someone thinking this is not going to work out well. This is going to be shit. This is going to be crap, whatever. How something starts is how it must end in order to truly move away in peace. We've never truly healed our shadow. Now I'm using, perhaps connections or experience. You can apply this in everything, not just romantic connections, but everything. The energy of how something starts is how it must end for true harmony and balance. So like I said, when it comes to new relationships, we never start something thinking it's going to end badly. No one ever starts a relationship thinking, I'm going to risk everything here, and then it's just not going to work, and I know that, so I'm going to do it anyway. Right? We always start something with the hope and the faith that it will work with this ideal that we hold in our heart. There is always, no matter how something ends, there was always one point of us that thought that it was something beautiful, In order to experience true calming, balancing, true freedom, we must be dedicated to healing the parts of ourselves that feel challenged when we look back and go, okay, can I end this in the way it began? You don't have to have a conversation. You don't have to see someone or something in person. This can happen internally, Cancer. And I feel this is relevant to a Cancer that's listening and watching this. If I go, oh my God, I'm not dealing with that anymore. I'm just going to ignore, I'm going to block, I'm not even going to talk to them anymore. That energy will still reside until we acknowledge it for what it was. And this is the challenge that comes with forgiveness, releasing and acceptance, Our world tells us we must be in conflict with something that is bad. That's how things are. Again, like I said, you don't even have to have conversations. This can all happen within. This can all happen within before it can even happen external, before it can happen without. I think that's relevant for some Cancers, but I feel like I'm connecting into Cancers that have successfully reached a plateau when it comes to the challenges and pains of their past and the wisdoms it has brought. And you know exactly what I mean when I say you must, in ourselves, we must end it in the same way we began it. We let go with love. We trust that everything has happened exactly as it's needed to. We want for them the same thing we want for self. Otherwise, we never truly believe that we want it for self, Who are we to judge and punish and say someone must be punished, or I wish X, Y, Z on them so that they experience the same amount of pain and harm that I do. That's what I'm trying to get to. This is a closing off a chapter, really integrating the wisdoms of the shadows within, moving into more peaceful waters and truly graduating to this sense of equality and deeply knowing that it's time, Cancer, it's time. You've got something to celebrate here, the 3 of Cups. Your whole world has changed. You have changed. Your consciousness has changed thanks to the King and Queen of Swords. this sense of unity and freedom exists within, as it's probably being reflected in your external world, within your connections, thanks to the Lovers card. There is genuine freedom that you are now, listen to those beautiful birds. There's genuine freedom here when it comes to love. Like I said, I don't romanticize twin flames, soulmates, all that sort of stuff. I really deeply believe it has to happen internally before it can happen externally. But I do feel that I'm connecting to Cancers that are very much experiencing that freedom within themselves and also experiencing that in their connections. You have manifested this. Your reality is starting to reflect what's going on inside you. Your inner world is reflecting now in your outer world. There's a lot of manifestation here, and there will be something to celebrate. This is a coming together of friends, loved ones, families, a celebration, engagement, marriage, birthdays. This is the coming together of those who feel like they are our equal. They want our happiness just as much as we want theirs. Yeah, this is equality, the Holy Trinity. There is a new energy that is born, and I talk about this on my page, and I talk about it metaphorically. You've got it here, actually. Look. Ready? So the reason I don't romanticize this energy of twin flame, because I believe there's more of a deep metamorphosis that has to happen internally within us, okay? We must balance our shadow and light. Okay, if you like, our feminine and masculine must come together, and when they do, in true harmony and balanced equality, there is a beautiful energy that's experienced. Yeah, when we balance these energies within, just as when we experience this genuine balance outside of ourselves with another. What is the third energy? What is the Holy Trinity? If there is a divine masculine energy and a divine feminine energy, what is the third energy? The third energy perhaps is a divine child energy. Perhaps it is the energy that is created when we successfully merge the two parts of ourselves. We experience true and genuine shifts in our consciousness, in our manifestation ability, Cancer. In the way in which we perceive ourselves and our life and our past and our pain. We are no longer truly trapped by the fears that our pain presented us with. We are ascending outside of that. Does that make sense? Divine masculine, divine feminine must successfully balance and merge and then be experienced so that that third energy can come together and be released into the world. It's a whole new world. We then create a whole new world, a whole new way of experiencing self in our life. The divine child essence doesn't have to be a child. It's the birth of something new, a whole new chapter. This is beautiful. I feel like I'm connecting into Cancers that are experiencing this. Look, the Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is about connecting into that divine feminine element of the earth suit and signs. There's a shift here, Cancer. And you have come out of a time of this Nine of Swords energy, feeling alone in your thoughts, feeling alone in your struggles, and knowing that it is time for a new beginning. Yeah? The Fool card, the World card. This is the end. Like, there's a lot of transitions here, but this is that after the sigh of relief. And then there's that chapter. That's where you're at, Cancer. I can't wait for your June reading to see what stories it wants to tell us, but I very strongly feel there are Cancers out there that are working well with closing off their ecliptical cycle, as well as working with the gift of Venus retrograde. Okay? Cheers to you and your freedom, Cancer. How that feels within is exactly how it will be experienced outside of yourself, in your connections, in the way you see yourself and your potential, your purpose, your path, moving ahead to freedom. See you next time, Cancer.